Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Today at Comerica Park, the top two home run hitters in the American League will square off. Jose Bautista has hit 26 long balls this year. Miguel Cabrera, the Tigers, he's right behind him with 24. Plenty of thunder at Comerica Park today on an absolutely gorgeous day for baseball. Welcome inside Comerica. Game one in this four-game series featuring the Toronto Blue Jays and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us for the first in this four-game series. Tigers finally snapped their losing streak last night, Rod, with a victory over the Texas Rangers. Max Scherzer, absolutely outstanding last night. Hopefully more of the same today from Tigers ace Justin Verlander.
Well, Verlander will need to be as good today against the Toronto Blue Jays team. Toronto has had Verlander's numbers. He's 0-2 with an earned run average over 11 against Toronto in his career. And this Toronto Blue Jays team does very well on the road. But Verlander has simply been sensational in his last four starts. He comes in 3-0 with 32 strikeouts, and he hasn't given up a home run. This Blue Jays team, they hit bunches of home runs, which means Verlander will need to add the breaking ball and the changeup and the slider very early in the game, because this Blue Jays team, they absolutely clobber fastballs. Something's got to give here today with Verlander on the mound going against this Toronto Blue Jays team.
And his last four, he has not allowed a single home run. This ought to be interesting. You mentioned all the home runs Toronto likes to hit. Jose Bautista has 26 to lead the American League. Miguel Cabrera right behind him. This ought to be another interesting matchup.
Who's Jose Bautista?
26 homers.
No one knows about Jose Bautista, but this guy's legit. He had 10 home runs last year at the tail end of the season. So combined, more home runs than anybody up until this point. He's got 26 of them. He plays in a really nice ballpark, which yields lots of home runs. But you know all about Miguel Cabrera. This guy, since putting on a Tigers uniform, has been one of the best power hitters in the American League. It should be fun watching these two guys the next couple of days.
Hey, what do you say? We get another win here this afternoon. Tigers trying to make it two straight. That's what we have here at the ballpark right now. With more on our coverage, we'll go back to the Call Sam studios. And here's Trevor Thompson.
What's up, stranger?
Baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Hey, it's Christmas in July here at the ballpark today, including our good friend Santa Claus, as the Tigers get ready to take on these Toronto Blue Jays. Game 1 of this 4-game series. A little festive attitude here today. How about our 2 stockings? Look at the size of these stockings here, Rob.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. What do we have in those stockings?
Well,
is there anything in them?
We're going to have to check after the game. Hopefully a lot of good.
I hope there's good stuff in there.
Hey, by the way, maybe some curly fries in there. If the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. Here's the starting lineup today for the Toronto Blue Jays, brought to you by Honda Bloomfield. It'll be Dwayne Wise leading it off in left field. Yunel Escobar is batting second and playing shortstop. Jose Bautista and his big bat playing in right field. Vernon Wells in center. Adam Lind, Aaron Hill, Lyle Overbay, John Buck, and Edwin Encarnacion round out the lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays. The scouting report is on ace Justin Verlander, brought to you by Ace Hardware.
Well, Verlander just needs to continue to pitch to his strength, and that's mixing in all of his pitches very early in games, and you'll have to do that because Toronto has 143 home runs as a ball club, and they clobber fastballs. Absolutely follow Scherzer's lead when your team is struggling. You need pitchers to go out there and put up zeros. Scherzer did that, and we told you about the power that Toronto has, which means Verlander must keep the ball down. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment by Beaumont Hospital. Damon in left, Jackson in center, Rayburn's in right, Sizemore getting his first start at third base in the big leagues. Danny Worth at short. You've got Santiago at second, Cabrera is at first, and Gerald Laird, after a big night last night, getting the nod once again.
Well, the ace on the mound, Justin Verlander, and looking for his 12th victory of the season, ready to take on Wise, Escobar, and Bautista here in the first inning. On a nice day for baseball, it is warm. It is clear so far. We hope it stays that way. Strike 1 on Dwayne Wise. Wise batting just .219, although he's been very good career against the Tigers, .310. That has popped up. Heading back toward the seats, and Laird runs out of room. These Toronto Blue Jays are 1 over the 500 mark at 48 and 47. As we have documented, they will hit a ton of home runs. In fact, they lead all of baseball with 143 under Cito Gaston. 0-2 on Wise. A couple of World Series titles under Cito. Wise has been well traveled. Chicago White Sox recently, also with Cincinnati, Atlanta, and his second tour of duty now with Toronto. There's Verlander's 1-2. Tigers snapping the losing streak last night, so the ace on the mound today, trying to make it 2 consecutive victories for Detroit. Max Scherzer was sparkling against a really good offense last night.
Oh, he owned it last night, and he's chilling today.
The 1-2. Line drive caught by the second baseman, Santiago. Well, we haven't seen the Jays at all this year. Believe it or not, here it is, the month of July. So how about we get caught up on the Jays?
Well, they're led by an outstanding manager in Cito Gaston, 2-time World Series champion. We talked about Bautista and his power with 26. Their club has 143. They play well defensively. They do strike out a lot of people, and they're having a pretty good record, but they play in a very, very tough division.
Here's the recently acquired Yunel Escobar. He's playing shortstop these days for the Blue Jays. On the recent trip in Atlanta in interleague play, he was playing short for the Braves.
He left a first-place club to come to a fourth-place club, but this guy, from a talent standpoint, has a chance to be a really good shortstop, and I mean really good shortstop.
Having a rough year offensively, Escobar, although he is 8 for 17 since joining the Blue Jays.
Did not hit a home run while wearing an Atlanta Braves uniform, but has hit 2 home runs in a Toronto uniform.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1 now on Yunel Escobar.
Well, watch Verlander very early on. He says if his fastball's anywhere from 92 to 94 in the very first inning, then he's right where he needs to be. Of course, he can dial up to 97, 98 when he has to reach back and get a little extra.
Bouncing ball left side, right at third base there is Scott Sizemore making his first start in a Tiger uni at that position.
Sizemore told me yesterday that third base is not a foreign position to him. He played there 3 times this year in Toledo. And he said as a sophomore and a junior in college, he also played shortstop and played shortstop for a complete summer in the Cape Cod League, which is real good baseball in Cape Cod. If you've never heard of that league, it's where a lot of the better collegiate players go and hang out for the summer. It's a pretty nice gig if you can get it.
Here's Jose Bautista, the #1 home run hitter in the American League. 26 long balls. In fact, he's homered 6 times in his last 14 games. He's absolutely come out of nowhere to lead the league in homers.
Well, he had a nice finish to his year last year. 8 home runs in September, 2 more in October. And when you combine the 26 already this year, he's done a lot of damage.
Ground ball, fair ball inside the bag, third base line. Damon goes over there to scoop it up. Bautista trying for 2. He's going to run on Damon. He'll get there easily standing up.
Well, the only team that's hit more doubles than this Toronto Blue Jays team is the Boston Red Sox. So they've got a bunch of guys that lift and separate under their new hitting coach, Dwayne Murphy. Looked like a 2-seam fastball down. Very quick hands by Bautista. And a pass to Sizemore.
2-out chance now for the cleanup man, Vernon Wells, who has hit safely in his last 6 in a row. Vernon this year having a good season, 19 homers, 51 RBIs.
He has good numbers against Verlander as well. Which means if you're Verlander and you're in this situation, Wells is an all-star. Bautista standing at second base was also an all-star. You might want to not give in to Wells, put him on, go after the next guy because of these numbers.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike on Wells.
I was talking to Vernon before the game today, and he said he's 31 years old, but he feels a lot older than that, playing all those years on artificial surface. It will wear you down. He's been on artificial surface for about 11 years.
I'll bet if you were to check out guys that played the majority, if not all, of their careers on the surface like that, if you check out their back and legs, you're right, man, they have to be worn down.
He says his body aches, but you still got to go out there every single day. He said he even played in AAA on artificial surface in Toronto's organization.
2-2. Vernon has 48 extra base hits this year, 3rd in the American League. Brian Butterfield, their third base coach, way out of the box.
Used to call him Nichols. 55 is his number. That's his nickname, Nichols. I worked with Brian Butterfield in Arizona, along with their hitting coach, Dwayne Murphy. We were some of the first instructors hired by the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 1985. Excuse me, 95.
There's the 3-2 pitch. It is high, and Verlander gives Wells the pass, and that'll put 2 aboard now for Adam Lind.
It's not all bad. Verlander knew the numbers that Vernon Wells had against him, and he was not going to give in to him, although Adam Lind is having a slow year. He is capable of hitting the long ball himself, which means Verlander needs to make a quality pitch to Adam Lind.
Big numbers against the Tigers, 340 overall. Big numbers as well against Verlander.
Their entire team has big numbers against Verlander. Verlander is 0-2 against this team with an earned run average of 11. A lot of hits given up to this Toronto Blue Jays team.
Only Carlos Pena has struck out more, though, in the American League than Adam Lind. Verlander behind in the count, 1-0. And they'll make it 2 balls, no strikes. Lind is really having an interesting year when you consider the breakout year he had last year. Smacked 35 homers, knocked in 114, and he is way off the pace on those numbers.
Cito Gaston said before the game he still believes that Lind has a chance to be their best offensive player, despite his numbers. That's how talented he is.
Meanwhile, Verlander has gone 3-0 now.
Well, you would expect that the way that Toronto swings the bat, and as many home runs and extra base hits as they have as a team, they're not afraid to swing 3 balls and no strikes.
Aaron Hill waiting on deck. Lind, the designated hitter, won the Silver Slugger Award for that position last year in the American League with his gargantuan numbers along with the big home run numbers. 35 he hit for a .305 average. The 3-1. And there's a walk. That's going to load him up. So a 2-out uprising here.
Verlander had some command issues 5 days ago as well. Against Cleveland, he walked 5. Verlander does not usually walk that many. As a matter of fact, the 5 walks by Verlander on the 17th of July, the most he'd walked this year.
He had 9 strikeouts against the Tribe at 5 base on balls and threw 117 pitches.
Wild pitch cost Verlander a win in that game against Cleveland.
So here is Aaron Hill in a big at bat early in this game. Bases loaded with 2 outs. .347 hitter career with the sacks full. And Verlander drops in a breaking ball, strike 1.
Verlander, like most stud pitchers, they give you a little bit of an opening early in games while they're trying to find their way through. And if you don't get them, you usually aren't going to get them. And this is that opening right now for the Toronto Blue Jays here in the first inning with the bases loaded.
Popped him up. Left side of the infield. Shortstop Worth calling off Sizemore. And crisis averted. They leave him loaded. Verlander pitching through the first. We'll check out the Tigers starting lineup today, presented by Big Boy, and it features Austin Jackson in center. Johnny Damon opens up in left. Then it's Maglio, the DH today. Then Cabrera. Rayburn will play right field. Sizemore is getting the start at third. Laird, Santiago, Worth rounded out. The Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report on Ricky Romero. Get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, he's the ace of their staff now that Roy Halladay had been traded to the Philadelphia Phillies, and they're going to keep it real simple with him. Stay back and pound down. Stay on the rubber, allow your arm to catch up, which allows you to throw some really good sinker balls. And he made his major league debut against Detroit last year in Toronto. So Ricky Romero, really good left-handed pitcher.
Jackson, Damon, Ordonez, top 3 for Detroit. Sun is doing his best to peek through the clouds, in and out of the clouds today. Jackson rifles one right back to Romero, and look what he found.
Jackson hit a ball a couple of days ago that hit Nippert of the Texas Rangers square in the head. Nippert's okay, and Romero is lucky. Good reflexes here. The ball is sizzled, and he throws his glove up, and the ball went right in his glove. Great reaction time by Romero, and a dangerous, dangerous play.
Look out. Romero might have to change his uniform after that one. Here's Johnny Damon. Johnny trying to get it going, batting .277. Damon, who sits safely in 14 of his last 17 games.
This Blue Jays team, they got some good young pitching. That's really the strength of their club, along with their power. They got some guys that can miss some bats. They lead the American League in strikeouts, and Romero is one of those guys.
The Jays have not allowed a home run on their current trip, which has been over 57 innings worth of pitching. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Blue Jays currently on a 10-game trip. They have won 5 of their last 6 games. There's the 2-1 to Damon. That's in the air. Shallow center field for Vernon Wells.
And here's the rest of the Blue Jays defensively. You've got Wise in left. You've got Wells in center. You got Bautista having a home run career year, and he also has 7 assists from that position. And the catcher today, John Buck, we know him real well from his Kansas City Royals days. But he's not playing like that John Buck. He's playing like a different John Buck these days.
Ordonez sends one high in the air, left center field. Vernon Wells will cruise over to his right. Easy inning, 7 pitches worth, and a 1-2-3 frame for Romero.
Our next Tigers Weekly, it's going to take a look at this beautiful ballpark and what it has in store for fans of all ages. Mickey York and guest host Pause are your tour guides for Tigers Weekly Game Day at Comerica Park, premiering tomorrow at 6 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Detroit.
Here come the Blue Jays now as we go to the second. In a 0-0 tie, Verlander back to the hill after throwing 25 first-inning pitches. They loaded him up against JV with 2 outs and then failed to score when Hill popped up. Lyle Overbay leads it off. 7, 8, 9 in the lineup for Cito Gaston as we go to the second. Overbay sends one high in the air, deep into right field, way back, and that ball is 1 hop off the wall. Overbay will cruise into second with a lead-off double.
This Toronto Blue Jays team, they have not seen a fastball that they don't like. That fastball at 92 miles an hour, and Overbay jumps all over. It's a tailing fastball right down the heart of the plate, and they don't get to the catcher's glove most of the time.
Second double already in this game for the Jays. The other one came off the bat of Bautista in the first inning.
Blue Jays don't hit for a lot of average. They don't have that kind of team. They don't have guys that get infield singles. They don't get bunt singles, but they do hit lots of doubles and they hit lots of home runs, but not a high batting average ball club.
Here's John Buck. Buck hammers one to right field. Way back. This one is gone. What a season Buck is having, and the Jays are just teeing off early in this game.
That is John Buck's 14th home run, which is more than any other catcher. 2 fastballs, both of them clobbered. Extra base of variety.
Well, we mentioned that it was an interesting matchup. Verlander had not allowed a home run in his last 4 starts, and the Jays hit a ton of them.
Yes, they do. They had homered in 13 consecutive games before they ran into Zach Greinke yesterday in Kansas City, who slowed them down a little bit.
2 runs on 2 hits on 2 pitches.
You've got to throw some breaking balls to this Toronto Blue Jays team. You got to throw curveballs, you got to throw changeups, and an occasional fastball, and it's got to be a well-located fastball, because under Dwayne Murphy, their new hitting coach, they are very, very aggressive.
Hit hard to third. Sizemore right there.
As a matter of fact, their manager, Cito Gaston, is a very good hitting coach himself. I know he's a manager here, but he has a lot to say about what goes on as far as his hitters. A lot of the guys go to him all the time just to see and get a feel for what the pitcher might be doing and what he has advice-wise for them to do.
Dwayne Wise, the top of the order. Sizemore has handled his first 2 chances at third base flawlessly. Leland was talking about that today. They asked him what they thought he would expect out of Sizemore, and he said, well, he can catch a ground ball and he has a good arm. He'll be okay. He's an infielder. And so far, so good. And that's down the right field line. That's a fair ball. That'll go to the corner. Going to be another extra base hit for the Blue Jays. Wise is going to try for 3. And the relay throw not in time as he dives in with a triple.
This really didn't appear to be that bad of a pitch. It's at 95 and it's down, but as I told you after the Buck home run, they don't miss fastballs. They catch them out front and they get the barrel on the ball. That's a nice job of Wise picking up his third base coach, Brian Butterfield. And Butterfield led him to third base.
Blue Jays had 4 hits in this game already, all of them for extra bases. Infield in for the Tigers. Buckling out of the way was Escobar, who was fooled at the pitch, and it's called a strike.
And JV's going to have to do a little bit more of that. And there's no reason why he can't. His curveball is a plus pitch, as is his changeup.
The 0-1. Ground ball left side. Sizemore will check the runner. It's a big out. 2 away.
And not coming on contact.
So it'll take a 2-out hit from Bautista to get that run in from third base. 2-base hit, did not score in the first inning. Swing and a miss. Bautista's previous high in the home run column was 16 with the 06 Pirates. He has 10 more than that already this year. It's been one of those years where they just have come in bunches for him.
He's got power. He had power in the minor leagues in Pittsburgh's organization. Always a double-digit guy. 23 home runs 1 year in the minor leagues. The power has always been there. Finally getting a chance to play every day.
One and two on Jose Bautista. Even the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Verlander threw 25 pitches in the first inning, and he has been met with a double, a homer, and a triple here in the second. Wise at third base. Fouled away.
You probably would know more about Bautista if he was not playing in Toronto. He has 36 home runs since September of 2009, and that's more than any other player in the major leagues. Some impressive players on that list. Fielder, Pujols, Cabrera, Joey Votto, and Big Ryan Howard. That's impressive company.
And the 3-2, swing and a miss. Verlander strikes him out for his first of the game. They'll strand a runner at third, but get 2 on the home run by Buck. Run by John Buck. And so the Tigers have some work to do now. Cabrera, Rayburn, Sizemore here in the bottom of the second. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Jays. Tigers, no runs, no hits. Romero back to the hill. Ricky had an easy 1-2-3 first in which he threw just 7 pitches.
Romero has an outstanding changeup. I mean, a really good changeup. One of your better changeups in this league for a left-hander. I believe that may have been it. He also has a very slow curveball, and he likes to locate his fastball on the inner third of the plate against right-handed batters.
Had a really good rookie season last year, winning 13. He's 25 years old, out of Los Angeles, California. 2 balls and 1 strike on Cabrera. 13-9 last year in 29 starts. Only Rick Porcello had more victories as a rookie. Porcello won 14 for Detroit. Here's a 2-1 offering.
Didn't he and Porcello match up for their major league debuts last year in Toronto at the beginning of the year?
Yes, they did. As a matter of fact, it was the first time two #1 picks made their debut against each other ever.
It's a pitch right there that Romero has been working on. It's a cut fastball that he kind of cut in on the hands of Cabrera, and a good pitch.
Rolled foul. Cabrera still alive. Well, Cabrera hitting all three in that series against Texas, and what a series it was. He was 6 for 13. Cabby last year tore up Blue Jays pitching. He hit 400 against him. Had that big opening series in Toronto. Hammers this one to center field. Right at Vernon Wells. One away.
Vernon Wells makes it look awfully easy in center field at age 31. Very graceful out there, and really you never see him leave his feet to dive. That's just the kind of jumps he gets in center field.
Rayburn in right today. He's batting in the 5-hole as well. Brendan Bosch getting the day off. Even though Romero is left-handed and Bosch chews up left-handed pitching, it was getting to the point, I think, where Brendan probably needed to step back a day, take a day off.
Mental days off are great when you're struggling at the plate. You kind of sit back, you don't do anything, you don't take any batting practice, and you just relax. And he needed one of those days.
Felt bad for Bosch yesterday in his final at bat. He had really been struggling, and he was called out on strike 3 on a 3-2 pitch that clearly was outside, but that's just how it's been going for him.
It was his best at bat, however, in yesterday's game.
The 2-0 is hit high in the air to left field, not very deep. Wise coming under it. 2 gone.
And the reason I said it was his best at bat, he had gotten jammed his first 3 times up, but in his 4th at bat, he stayed back and his swings were a lot better. A lot better.
In fact, Bosch was telling me before the game today, he said, you know, I really put together a great at bat. He agreed with you. He said, I really felt like I was getting it going, and then I was punched out.
Yeah. He had to walk. He should have been on first base.
Here's Sizemore now with 2 outs. Well, Scott back up to the big leagues. As you know by now, he started the year as the Tigers' starting second baseman. When Polanco left in the offseason, Sizemore was given his opportunity, but to be quite honest, he just was not 100% healthy. And he said that his ankle is feeling a whole lot better. In fact, he hasn't had treatment on that ankle in quite a while now. So that's pretty much back to normal.
Well, if he wants to stay and play third base, he's got to do better than 206. There's no debate about that.
Well, if the minor league stint was any indication, maybe he will do better than that. He hit safely in his last 9 in a Toledo uniform before coming up.
He's got to.
The 2-1 pitch. On one hop to the shortstop, Escobar. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Romero. 6 up, 6 down against the lefty. Verlander back to the hill. Baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Romani Eye Institute, the most trusted name in eye care. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, great thing possible. By the way, you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game using your cell phone. Text Tigers, followed by a space in the player's uniform number to 37338. That's FSDET. You'll see the final results during postgame Tigers Live. What do we got going on here in the booth? Santa Claus is here with some elves. What's going on? Santa Claus with some gifts. It's Christmas in July.
Wow.
Some cotton candy.
You didn't have to. You want me to open it?
Santa Claus fired up.
All right. Oh.
What do we have
cotton
here?
Candy. I'm the blue guy. He's the pink guy. Now you got to switch that up. He likes the pink cotton candy.
No. It's
Come on.
reversed. You got it right. Oh, candy.
You got diamonds in there too.
Thank you, Santa Claus.
It looks like some diamonds.
You know what, Santa Claus? I forgot your list in my car. Don't worry. I'll get it after the game.
We'll get you next year.
There's a pop-up to third base for the first out of the inning. We promise, Santa Claus, we will take care of you next year.
Chocolate.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, I've been working out awfully hard now. You done brought all this candy up here. I'm trying to bring my sexy back.
Now, do you want some? Is that what you're telling me? Thanks, Santa Claus. And the elves, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Always nice to see you, Santa Claus.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Well, we'll get a hat. Don't worry. We'll wear our hats a little later on.
All right. Thank
Christmas
you.
in July here at the ballpark. Santa Claus making a visit and bringing us some goodies. Might have to dive into this cotton candy right now. Adam Lind is the batter with one away. Verlander trying to right the ship after giving up a pair in the second. Lind had a walk in the first but did not score. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Outside, 3 balls, no strikes. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Blue Jays. Tigers, no runs, no hits. And the 3-0 offering. That is in there for a strike. 3-1 on Lind.
And Cito Gaston told me before the game that he believes that Lind will be one of their better hitters as he matures in his career. And the reason he said that is he's very teachable and has a lot of talent. And a lot of times that's how you get better, if you listen. Last 14 games, apparently. And he's been doing pretty good. And that's to get him to 218, so he must have been really scuffling.
Cito said earlier this year the one thing he has to do is mentally make some adjustments and bring that same approach to the plate every single time. He had not been doing that. He had deviated from his approach. Regardless of what your approach is, and obviously that approach worked last year with 35 home runs, but he kind of strayed from it. But in the last 14, apparently getting back to it. 3-2 on Lind.
Cito Gaston started his career as a hitting coach in the Atlanta Braves organization, and Hank Aaron hired him. And Cito said that Hank Aaron called him on 2 prior occasions and said, I want you to come work with me, not for me, but with me. And he turned him down twice. And when Hank asked him the 3rd time,
Lind will be out here, 2 gone.
Hank said, I'm not going to ask you again. And Cito said, okay, I'll come work with you. And then he stayed there for a year and then went to Toronto with Bobby Cox as Bobby Cox hitting coach. And he's been in Toronto ever since.
A couple of World Series rings in tow. Here's Aaron Hill with 2 outs. Hill popped up back in the first.
Most people, if Hank Aaron asks you once, you're going to go work for him. Took Cito 3 times.
First pitch in there for a strike on Hill. Cito was out of a job for a while, and nobody could figure out why because of all the success that he had the first time around with the Blue Jays.
You're right.
Hammered to right center field. That's going to get down. It looks like another extra base hit. Jackson goes over to cut it off. And the throw is late. It's a two-base hit for Hill.
That's what they're trying to get Hill to do a little bit more of, and that's not to be so pull happy and to drive some balls in the opposite direction. And if Hill starts to do a little bit more of this, he'll get his batting average up. And here's proof of that. I mean, that is only his 7th hit in that direction. 38 to left. He's got a few up the middle. But if you're that pull happy and you're not using the entire baseball diamond, you're going to get a batting average of about 200.
Here's Lyle Overbay trying to produce a 2-out run. So 5 hits now for Toronto, and all of them are for extra bases.
I don't know. It looks like Verlander's kind of fighting himself again out there today. I don't know if it's the Toronto Blue Jays offense or just the fact that he walked 5 in Cleveland and he's just a little sluggish coming out of the break. I really don't know, but he doesn't look like himself just yet.
For the second baseman, Santiago, routine play. And the inning is over, so nothing comes of a 2-out double. 2.5 in the books here at Comerica Park. Still 2-zip in favor of Toronto. Go to the bottom of the third here at Comerica Park, and the Tigers right now on a stretch in which they're going to play some tough teams, including these Jays.
Well, the East is always tough. You know, Blue Jays for 4. You got the Rays for 4. And you got the Red Sox. So it's not going to be easy in the next 10 days or so.
Tigers 8-2 against the East this year, but they're facing some of the heavyweights coming up. Here's Gerald Laird to lead it off against Romero, who has thrown just 21 pitches through the first 2 innings, including a 7-pitch first. Laird hit a homer in the ballgame last night. And his career numbers against the Jays really stick out. 352 lifetime.
Gerald needs just a few more hits to get you over that 200 Mendoza line. As far as the batting average is concerned, you'll start to feel a little bit better about yourself. 200 is still low, but when you get there, you know you're moving forward.
Tiger bench chirping a little bit after that last pitch. Thought it was a little bit high. There's a strike, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. And 2 balls, 2 strikes. Laird 15 RBIs. Gerald getting back-to-back starts. Don't often see a matinee game for the start of a weekday series. That is the case here. Tigers playing all day games on Thursdays.
Nice crowd.
Really good crowd. The 2-2. That'll go foul.
You talked about Gerald's night last night. He went big fly very early in the game. It was the second inning, as a matter of fact, got the Tigers on the board and allowed Scherzer to breathe a little bit easier. He also made an outstanding throw to second base. Look at where he threw this ball on the bag. I mean, you can't make a better throw than that. He threw out Elvis Andrus of the Texas Rangers and also had a real nice block in the game and led Scherzer beautifully.
2-2 on Gerald. He'll be followed by Santiago and Worth. 7, 8, 9 in the Detroit lineup today. Looking for their first hit against Ricky Romero, the 25-year-old out of Los Angeles. There's a fly ball hit well to left field. Going toward the corner is Wise, and that ball is fouled. Blair made a bid for homers in consecutive games.
The ball does fly a little bit better here at Comerica Park during the daylight. And really at night, when it warms up here, the ball flies pretty good too. But I guess that's typical for most ballparks. The ballpark typically flies out of the ballpark a little better during the daylight. Romero's pitch count in real good shape here in the third inning.
Swing and a miss, and down goes Laird. That's 7 straight. Time for a game break now. We go back to the studio. Here's Trevor Thompson.
I'm bringing it back, Trev. I'm bringing it back.
That candy ain't going to help you, that's for sure.
I'm not going to eat it.
Here's Santiago. 269 average. And a 4-game hitting streak for the Tigers' second baseman. 2-0 on Ramon. For as good as Romero was last year, he did tail off a little bit in the second half. He had an ERA of an even 3 prior to the All-Star break in his rookie season, but that ballooned to 5.5 in the second half. But this staff now without Roy Halladay, leaning on Romero.
Romero last year led the major leagues with 30 induced ground balls to get double plays, and that's where they're trying to get him to get back to, and that's why we talked about in the pitching profile they want him to stay back and pound down in the strike zone to try to get those ground balls.
3-1 pitch, and he lost him. Ball 4. Tigers have their first base runner of the game. 1 on, 1 out.
I guess it's a lot like Porcello, a guy prior year, lots of ground balls, sinker baller as a rookie, and all of a sudden, second year around, league starts to make a few adjustments against you. And Romero trying to get back to that form of last year, as is Porcello.
And speaking of Rick, boy, he looked good in his first start.
If they get some starts like that out of him, they're going to be okay.
Danny Worth hitting. He was 0 for 3 in the series against Texas.
You can't steal on Romero. He just does not allow you to get a real good jump off of second base. But at some point in time during this game, I'm sure Jim Leland might put a runner in motion or two to stay out of some double plays, because we told you Romero typically throws lots of ground balls.
Also, if you're Santiago, be on your toes, because Romero is first in the majors with 15 wild pitches.
Ooh.
So this stuff apparently moves a whole lot.
I'm trying to figure out what pitch he throws that gives the catchers that much trouble.
2-1.
But apparently it's something that gets away from him.
Now think about that. 15 in 1/2 a season. That's a lot of wild pitches.
I mean, it's usually a guy that has some real electric stuff. And Romero's good, but you wouldn't term his stuff as electric.
2-1.
There's that hit and run. They gave him the count, and Jim put him in motion, and Worth just did not put it in play. But that's the way that you have to play against Romero, because you're not going to steal. And Jim trying to help jumpstart his offense here today.
Romero's just been 3 of 9 in first pitch strikes. And the 2-2. Romero this year has a couple of complete games. In fact, he threw one against the team we just saw, that hard-hitting Texas team. Beat them back on May 15th, 6-0. And he struck out 12 Rangers in his complete game. You talk about impressive performances. 5-hit shutout. Also has a complete game against Baltimore.
He's the ace of their staff right now, with Roy Halladay being traded to the Philadelphia Phillies in the offseason. Talked about their young pitchers. They've got a kid by the name of Cecil that's outstanding. Brandon Morrow, another power pitcher. And it won't be long before Kyle Drabick gets to the big leagues. He was in that Halladay trade, and they really, really like him. So they're going to have a real good rotation next couple of years, and that might be what they need to compete with Boston and also the New York Yankees in their division. You got to outpitch them.
Line drive caught. Quick throw to first, and there's a double play. Santiago is doubled up on the soft liner. Tigers are done in the third. We go. Who are the 2 active managers that are currently in their second stint with the same team? There are 2 of them that are active right now. One should be easy.
Well, we gave it to him earlier.
Okay, don't give it to him again, though. If you were listening, one of them is easy. So that's something to ponder, and we'll get you the answer a little bit later on. Meanwhile, Verlander back to the hill. Has been flirting with trouble all day. They got to him in the second with a 2-run homer. That was John Buck.
And Verlander needs an easy pitch inning, and to get his pitch count back in shape. He's thrown 56 total pitches.
Did you eat your chocolate yet?
No, not yet.
You're not going to do it, are you?
No, I don't think so.
Man, that's really good. That is some willpower.
That was nice of Santa Paul's, though, to drop by and give us some gifts in July.
Santa Paul's had a lot to say, as usual.
Yep.
And the gargantuan stockings that we have hanging from the booth are a nice touch as well on Christmas in July. Buck cuts and misses, and down he goes as Verlander gets his second strikeout.
That's a good pitch. 85-mile-per-hour changeup to the right-hander. Well, you can see that changeup real good coming off his fingertips. Just enough to get the hitter off balance.
Encarnacion takes one right at the knees on the outside corner, 0-1. Edwin bounced out his first time up. It's been a good start for Sizemore down there at third base. He's handled 3 ground balls. That's in the air to center. Jackson is back there. 2 outs.
Gary Pettis, who left here last night with the Texas Rangers, who won 5 Gold Gloves as a center fielder, playing with a lot of different teams. Gary was the first base coach of Texas. Boy, he had some really nice things to say about Jackson and his ability to run down balls in center field.
Well, I think, now that Austin has been around for a little over a half a year now here in the big leagues, and word starts to get around, but really until you see him in person, it's really impressive, the amount of ground that he can cover. And he's one of those guys that it seems effortless. It doesn't seem like he's ever running hard.
You're right.
And the really good ones are the ones that glide.
Andy Van Slyke was a tremendous center fielder. Gary Pettis, Devon White, a lot of guys come to mind.
There's another hit for Toronto as Wise has his second hit of the game. 2-out single. That'll bring up Escobar.
And Verlander has 17 career pickoffs. And that's the most by a right-handed pitcher since he came to the big leagues. Very quick move. But he has given up some stolen bases this year, more than last year. Once he decides to go home, when he kicks his leg up in a more conventional way, he's about 1.5, 1.6 to home plate. And even with Gerald Laird's very good throwing arm behind the plate, it's tough to throw out guys if you're that slow to the plate.
And again, for those that are interested, a really good time to home plate would be
about 1.1, 1.2. And that gives your catcher a time of about 2 to get the ball down to second base. There we go.
Fouled away. Oh, and 1 on Escobar. So Wise was on the run. Yunel is 0 for 2 in this game.
Yunel kind of got into Bobby Cox's doghouse in Atlanta, which is hard to do. And that's why they decided to move him to Toronto. Alex Gonzalez, who was playing shortstop here for Toronto, a veteran shortstop with some playoff experience. They just kind of traded places. They're hoping that they can get a couple of years out of Gonzalez, but they knew they gave up a real good prospect in Escobar, but it just wasn't working in Atlanta.
Well, the numbers offensively had taken a serious step back. I mean, last year he hit 14 homers, drove in 76, but more than that, he hit nearly 300.
He was one of their best players. And he and Hayward, Jason Hayward, were supposed to be impact players in the middle of their batting order for the next 10 years.
This year the numbers dropped to 238 with no home runs for Escobar in a Braves uniform. He has since hit a couple here with Toronto. The 0-2. Ground ball to short. Danny Wirth will flip it to second. Inning over. So again, the Blue Jays get a base runner, leave a man, 3.5. In the books, Jackson, Damon Ordonez coming up. Still 2-0 Toronto in this one as we go to the home half of the fourth inning. Tigers trying to get the offense going here with the top of the lineup coming up. It'll be Jackson, Damon, and Ordonez facing Romero, who is yet to allow a Tigers hit. He gave up a walk in the third, but a line double play closed out that frame. Jackson had 3 hits yesterday, the 8th time this year that he's had a 3-hit game, and the average now at 308. 1-1.
That's a good changeup that Romero has, and it's a really good pitch to right-handers. It's got that fading action.
Bounced right back to the mound. Romero handles this one. It's the second time he's gone up the middle.
Well, Jackson's been going up the middle quite often. On Monday, it was Dustin Nippert who took one right off the head. That ball got all the way into shallow left field. Thankfully, Nippert was okay, and today, real good reflexes by Romero. Real good reflexes.
Here's Johnny Damon. If anything, I would assume that's a really good sign for Jackson going back up the middle.
Especially against a left-hander. Left-handers have given Jackson some problems this year. Right-handers have not been a problem at all, but left-handers he has struggled against.
Hey, that is a fair ball down the right field line. Tigers have their first hit. Damon is on his way to second, and he stops there with a 2-base hit. Finally got something on the board here against Romero.
Not quite sure what that pitch was, but it was right around the belt buckle, and it was hanging. And Johnny drilled it down in the right field corner.
Tying run coming to the plate now. 24th double this year for Johnny Damon. 475 of those in his career.
Being told that was a fastball by Romero at 92 miles an hour that Johnny got out in front of.
1-0 on Maglio. 2 for 13 in the series against Texas. They quieted him pretty good. Two and 0.
Well, here's a count where Romero, with that changeup, has no problem throwing that pitch because he knows he can throw it for a strike whenever he wants to. There it was, and it missed the strike zone. As a matter of fact, Romero's changeup acts almost like a split-fingered fastball, straight down, with some really good depth to it.
Walked him on 4 pitches.
Hey fans, enjoy 15 days of summer at Comerica Park with a new ticket package that lets you pick the games that you want to attend. Receive great season ticket holder benefits, including postseason priority. Call 313-471-BALL, or you can just simply visit Tigers.com.
That was a rewrite.
It was.
They took the word purchasers out of there.
Yeah, that was a tongue twister.
Which both of us had difficulty getting out straight.
Yeah, you just don't use that word very often. No, you don't use that word.
Here's Cabrera. Now the tying runs are on for Detroit. 2-0 here in the fourth. Cabrera hit a ball hard to center field on a line to Vernon Wells. He's 0 for 1. Drives this one to left center. That's a base hit. Damon coming around. He'll score. Maglio going to third base. He's in there standing up. And Cabrera comes through again. 84th RBI of the year for Cabrera.
Cabrera hitting about 340 with runners in scoring position and one of the most feared hitters in all of baseball. This is the cut fastball by 91 miles an hour, but look at Cappy pull his hands inside. Look how close he gets his hands in front of his body, and that allows him to whistle that ball into left center field. What a special player. I mean, that is textbook.
League leading 84th RBI of the season. That'll bring up Ryan Braeburn.
Nice job in center field by Vernon Wells to get over to that ball to prevent Cabrera from getting a double on that play.
Braeburn is 0 for 1. Romero this year has induced a few double play balls, 16, which is the second highest total in the American League. Braeburn trying to keep it off the ground here, get this tying run in. 0-2. By the way, this game today is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. Good block by Buck. One and two on Rayburn. Double by Damon, walk to Ordonez, single by Cabrera. And he swings right through it. They're going to try and score the run, and now Maglio is hung up. Here's the throwback and the tag, and they got it. How big is that play?
They don't even know how many outs there are.
They're starting to walk off the field.
What happened?
Well, that's strike three. Yeah, strike three.
Did he swing at it?
Apparently so. How about that for an inning? Tigers get a run, though.
Oh, my goodness. Strike three is a changeup in the dirt, and Rayburn swings through it, and Buck able to find the ball. It only bounces about 6-7 feet in back of home plate, and Maglio came halfway down the line and then realized he was not going to be safe. He tried to retreat and was tagged out by Yunel Escobar.
Bizarre ending to that inning. And the Tigers settle for one run.
A couple of base running blunders in this ball game by the Tigers today.
Here's Bautista to lead it off. Bautista, Wells, and Lind facing Verlander as we head to the fifth inning in this one. Tigers have been out hit 6-2 in this game. In fact, the Blue Jays, 5 of their 6 hits, extra bases. That's nubbed in front of the plate. Laird calls off his pitcher. Bautista's out of there, one gone. Verlander threw 25 pitches in that first inning, and with each passing inning, he has thrown less. Only 11 pitches in his last frame, so he's gotten that pitch count back in order a little bit. Wells walked in the first and then popped up That was in the third.
Toronto has the kind of team, if you're Jim Leland and Rick Knapp, the pitching coach, you need some length out of your starters. You can't allow this team to beat up on your middle relief. You just can't do it. That's where they've made their living this year. Knocking out starters and getting into that middle relief.
Two 2-0 on Wells. Shallow right field. Rayburn coming in, but the second baseman Santiago calling for the out. 2 outs and that AT&T trivia question again. You had a little time to think about it. The 2 active managers that are currently in their second stint with the same team, and Cito's one of them. Bobby Cox, who was retiring at the end of the year.
We talked about Bobby earlier. He gave Cito Gaston an opportunity to coach in the big leagues, his first gig.
You were foreshadowing the answer.
Yep. As a matter of fact, Cito said he talked to Bobby a week ago or so when the trade was made by, Escobar.
Adam Lind is 0 for 1 with a walk. That is a foul ball.
And both of those guys are shutting it down after this year. This is their final season as managers, and both have signed one of them nice contracts, Mario. One of those Al Kaline kind of deals where you you come to the ballpark and you hang out with the kids and you go watch the minor leaguers and you spend time around them and you talk to them and you just enjoy being around the ballpark.
They term those advisors.
Yes, they do.
With all the experience between them, they can certainly use their expertise.
I think Cito will be in a Toronto uniform in the organization 3 more years, hanging out, doing lots of things. Bobby Cox as well.
So we're going to lose Cito, Cox, and Piniella.
Yes.
The 0-2 pitch is fouled off.
Which should pave the way for some youngsters, some new blood.
It's always a good thing.
No doubt.
It'll be interesting to see who shows up in that Cubs job. See the pitch count and the pitches by inning. You see with each passing inning, fewer and fewer pitches thrown by Verlander. Here's the 0-2. Lind is trying to extend his 14-game streak. Wasted foul back out of play. 6 hits for the Jays, only 2 for the Tigers. A 2-1 game as we play in the 5th. Toronto is in for 4. Tigers have that road trip coming up. Tampa and Boston. 2 big timers out east. Another foul back out of play.
Variation of speeds in this at bat to Lind. Anywhere from 95 down to 83.
Meanwhile, Lind continues to hack away. This will be the 9th pitch coming up in this at bat.
It would be sort of dangerous, but not really for Verlander. He has not thrown a pitch inside yet to Lind. And if he went in there about 95 miles an hour, he might get the strikeout. Verlander wants the curveball, though.
Hammered foul.
Laird wanted the fastball. Here we go. He's still got a piece of that.
Well, the trading deadline is approaching, and Dave Dombrowski is certainly talking to other general managers around baseball, and his team right now without Brandon Inge, trying to get a little bit of a winning streak going. And right now with this ball club, Still very much in the central race. I think things got a little bit more interesting for Dave with the injury to Brandon Inge.
Well, really, if you're the Tigers, I guess you can kind of sit back and see what everybody else is doing. Minnesota really hasn't done anything. Chicago White Sox, I heard a rumor that they're after Prince Fielder. If they get him, that would be big.
Ooh.
So as a general manager, you kind of watch and see what the other clubs are doing. And if they're not really doing anything, you don't have to do anything, as Lynn takes strike 3 for the 3rd out of the 5th inning.
13th pitch in that at bat. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Blue Jays lead at 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 2 runs, 6 hits for Toronto. Tigers a run on 2 hits. And back to the hill goes Ricky Romero. He's facing Scott Sizemore, Gerald Laird, and Ramon Santiago. Sizemore bounced out to the shortstop his first time up. The 0-1 pitch. 0-2 on Scott. Talking to Scott today, I said, what was up with the hip injury that you came down with? He said, well, it's kind of a hip injury, and they called it a minor sports hernia as well. Didn't have any surgery, just rehabbed it. Says he feels fine. And the ankle is better as well. That's rolled to third base. Foul ball just outside of the bag.
He said he took about 10 days off with that injury, and then he came back too soon. Played a few games, and then had to take some more time off.
329 average at Toledo, and hit in the last 9 consecutive games that he played in down there. But the one thing Inge gave you, aside from his terrific glove at third base, was at least the ability to hit the ball out of the park, drive the baseball, drive in some runs. The 1-2, which added a little bit of depth to the Tigers starting lineup. One ball, 2 strikes. Romero has fanned just 2 in this game. Popped up right side of the infield, and it'll be caught by Lyle Overbay.
Hey fans, as soon as the game ends, our coverage continues with Tigers Live. You'll hear from the manager, Jim Leyland, and the players. Plus, we'll break down the games and show you all the highlights. Tigers Live from the Call Sam's studios immediately after the game here on Fox Sports Detroit. Trevor Thompson hanging out in the studio today.
Here is Gerald Laird with one out.
Ryan Field will be getting all the interviews after the game, and hopefully they're good interviews.
Bunted back to the mound. Romero with an easy play. 2 gone.
And what I mean by good interviews is the Tigers win, because Ryan always does good interviews.
Two-out chance now for Santiago. Again, only 2 hits for the Tigers. A double by Damon, a single by Cabrera. That scored the run. The only Tigers run so far.
You knew it'd be some point in time during the course of this season where the offense would slow down. In particular, Cabrera and Bosch and Ordonez. There was no way that they were going to be able to keep up the pace that they were on.
That's into center field, base hit.
And that's when you need some contributions from other players in your batting order. They will get hot again. That's part of it when you go through a grueling 162-game schedule.
Cabrera still leads the league in RBIs. Has driven in another one today. His slumps have not been very big ones. He has definitely carried this team. Collectively, though, that series in Cleveland really kind of set the tone for the start of the second half. That's fouled away. 0-1. Danny lined into a double play. Soft liner back in the third. One and one on Worth. Romero won his big league debut against the Tigers in 09. Gave up just 2 earned runs in 6 innings in that first big league start last year. Played his college ball at Cal State Fullerton, where he won a College World Series championship with the Titans. Also been busy in the field today. He has a putout, 2 assists. Jackson hit a line drive right at him in the first inning. Now the 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes on Danny Worth. First of 4 between these 2 teams. Tomorrow in game 2, we'll see the next start for Rick Porcello. Bonderman and Galarraga in the final 2 games before the road trip. Two and two. There's Jackson waiting on deck. Fill it now 3-2, and with 2 outs, Santiago will get a head start. He's the tying run at first base. Outstanding crowd here for a Thursday matinee, and they're starting to make some noise. Three-two pitch. Line drive, base hit, right field. Santiago coming to third. He's in there standing up. Danny Worth.
Look at that bat by Danny Worth. And he saw a number of pitches from Ricky Romero. The final pitch at 90 miles an hour at the top of the strike zone, and Worth did not try to do a whole lot with it. Just simply got on top of that high fastball and sliced it the opposite way.
Runners at the corners with 2 outs. In the top of the order, Austin Jackson. He's 0 for 2. Tying run standing at third base. Go ahead at first base. There's Buck going down to block it. We mentioned all the wild pitches that Romero has thrown this year, and Buck has had to go down in this inning to block a couple of them.
Looked like he almost came up too soon on this one. That's textbook, though.
Ground ball, base hit right field. Jackson comes through, and we are tied. Austin goes the other way and picks up his 21st RBI.
Well, the Tigers realize that Romero, and he will come inside, but just to show you the fastball inside. So Santiago takes a base hit up the middle, and then you have Worth going the opposite way for a single. That gets a runner over third. Then you get Jackson, same thing, taking that fastball that's up and hitting it the opposite way. Really nice approach and a nice adjustment by Tigers hitters here in the 5th inning.
Seven-game hitting streak now for Jackson. Santiago got it started with a 2-out single. Johnny Damon, the batter, trying to give the Tigers their first lead of the day. Tigers now had 5 hits. Slap to left, that's a base hit. They're going to hold Worth at third. Damon has a hit, and that's 4 straight hits for the Tigers off Romero.
And just about every base hit he's given up in this inning has been a pitch that has been up in the strike zone. And Tigers hitters are pretty much aware now that Romero not coming inside, and Gino quickly put up both hands for Danny Worth. He was not going to score on that ball that was hit sharply to left field.
Singles by Santiago, Worth, Jackson, and Damon. And the pitching coach, Bruce Walton, is out to have a chat with Romero. Ordonez will have the bases full here. Well, spend your Sunday at Comerica Park when the Tigers and Blue Jays play at 105. All kids 14 and under receive a poster of Tigers rookie sensation Brennan Bosch. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
I'm going to have to get me one of those and put it on my wall.
It's going to be a tall one.
He's one of my favorite players.
Here's Ordonez. Maglio takes outside 1-0.
And Maglio hitting .333 with the bases juiced in his career with 7 slams. Grand slams.
Tigers have Romero on the ropes here in the 5th inning. They've tied it up.
Maglio will take that base hit the other way, too.
Encarnacion will get the force to end the inning. So they get a run, they leave him full, and we go to the 6th. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by all the best laundry detergent. Salt in theaters tomorrow. And by your Detroit area Volkswagen dealers. Visit your Detroit area VWdealers.com. It is a 2-2 game as we go to the 6th inning. And Justin Verlander back to the hill. He misses high to Aaron Hill.
And Verlander gave up quite a few hits early in this game, and the majority of those hits were extra base variety, and they were on fastballs. And since he started mixing in breaking balls and changeups and occasional sliders, he's done much better. Has not given up anything since the 2nd inning.
Retired 4 straight. Hill has a double and a pop-up. Now the 1-1. Ground ball to third. Sizemore has another opportunity. Throws it high. The tag safe. Cabrera missed the tag apparently.
What a nice late adjustment by Hill, base running down toward first base. Sizemore has made every single play, but he throws this ball and Cabrera has to come off the bag to get to it and then reaches down to try to tag Hill, who alertly slides to elude the tag.
Pretty clear there that he missed the tag. Vic Carapazza, the first base umpire today, on that call. Here's Lyle Overbay. First error of the game for either side. E5 on Sizemore. Overbay a double and a ground out. Overbay earlier this year, back at the end of June, picked up the 1,000th hit of his major league career. Having a good July, 328 this month. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Laird's throw, tag, and he's out. Hill tried to avoid the tag by sliding early, popping up from that slide, but he's out of there.
The Blue Jays don't run very much. They only have 32 steals as a team, and they had been caught 9 times up until this point, but now it's 10 on an outstanding throw by Gerald Laird.
Laird continues to throw out runners. That is the 13th man he has caught stealing this year.
No fluke for him either. He's been doing it since 2006 when he was wearing a Texas Rangers uniform. He's been one of the best throwers in all of baseball.
Meanwhile, Verlander strikes out Overbay looking with a breaking ball.
And Laird and also Verlander picking up Sizemore with the air to lead off the inning. That's what you need to have a good team. You pick up one another.
Here's John Buck. His 2-run shot back in the 2nd remains the only runs today for Toronto.
Dwayne Murphy told me before the game he's the hitting coach for Toronto. First year as their hitting coach. He had been a hitting coach in Arizona when they won the World Series back in 2001. He said John Buck tried to hit everything to right field when they got him, and he simply told him, get the barrel out in front and hit the ball hard. And Buck has gone on to have career numbers so far this year. At least he's going to end up with career numbers.
Well, he's got 13 homers already. His career high is 18, so he's just 5 shy of that. But he came in a career .235 hitter. Way above that this year. Ball's hit pretty well to right center, but Jackson will cruise back there. And the inning is over. No runs. 1 error. Nobody left. Cabrera, Rayburn, Sizemore coming up.
The Coors Light 6th inning, and it's time for the Coors Light freeze cam. We're going to take you back to the very first inning. It was Jackson leading off against Ricky Romero and hit a bullet right back at Romero, and Romero, boy, threw his glove up and the ball went right in it. Coors Light freeze cam is always brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Well, see, the Tigers now can take the lead. They got a run in the fourth, a run in the fifth, and they tied it up 2-2 after Romero had kept them off the board for 3 straight frames. It'll be Cabrera to lead it off, so they'll have their number 4 hitter, and then Rayburn and then Sizemore.
Romero has started to start everybody off with that real slow breaking ball here lately, or either changeup. Cabrera clobbered a fastball first pitches last time up.
Driven hard to left center field and down over the wall into the seats. A ground rule double for Miguel Cabrera.
That's why Cabrera is so good, and people really don't give him the credit for being as smart a hitter as he is. He went up there and sat on a first pitch breaking ball. He got the pitch that he was looking for and absolutely killed it. He is a special player and a smart hitter.
And the young man that came up with that ball wearing a Cabrera shirt. That's a 7th hit for the Tigers, and a bouncing ball to the right side. They're going to come to third with it, and the tag is in time.
It's a good play. It's a really good play by Lyle Overbay. He was playing shallow, Cabrera on second base. Nothing he could do.
So Rayburn thinks, well, I'm doing my job. I hit the ball to the right side.
No doubt. Everybody did their job, but just a really good play by Overbay. Usually you don't see the first baseman go over and get an out in that fashion. I think we saw Cabrera do that earlier this year. Ground ball to first base with the runner on second, and he got the out at third base.
Reaching out a fielder's choice, Rayburn with 1 out, and here is the right-handed batting Scott Sizemore.
Well, here's another hit and run count. Should you choose to do something. 1-0. You're not going to steal a base on Romero. And you've got Sizemore standing in the batter's box, who does have some nice hand-eye coordination, which means he can put it in play.
This is the first inning the Tigers have gotten the leadoff man on. But a nice play by Overbay. Leaves a runner at first now with 1 out. Scott today is 0 for 2, pop-up ground out. Verlander, after a slow start, threw a ton of pitches in the first inning, gave up 2 runs in the second, has settled in. And has done so nicely. Broken bat pop up to the shortstop. 2 gone. Here's Gerald Laird. One ball and no strikes on Laird, who is 0 for 2, strikeout. And hit one right in front of the plate. He's thrown out by the catcher.
Ricky Romero, the majority of his fastballs that he has thrown today have been up in the strike zone. He has to be doing that by design. Obviously, his breaking balls are down at the bottom of the strike zone, but a lot of the fastballs have been up.
So it's 3-0 on Gerald Laird. Romero's had a couple of innings in which he's thrown 20 or more.
And we'll see if Gerald Laird is swinging. 3 balls, no strikes, with 2 outs.
He is not, and it's a strike ball, 3-1. Rayburn at first base. 3-1 pitch. High fly ball left field. Hit pretty good. Wise going back. to the wall, right in front of the wall to make the catch. Just kept going. Tigers get a leadoff double but failed to score. 6 in the books.
We told you that this Toronto Blue Jays team has had a lot of success against Verlander, and they hit fastballs. That's exactly what they did early. They hit him early and often, but then Verlander kind of settled in after the second inning, and that's when he went to his off-speed pitches, his secondary pitches, the curveball and the changeup and another curveball. And since he's done that, and he's been able to keep and slow down this Toronto Blue Jays team and keep them in check.
Here come the Jays now as we go to the 7th. It is Edwin Encarnacion, then Dwayne Wise and Yunel Escobar.
This Blue Jays team had to face Zach Greinke yesterday. Greinke not having the Cy Young type year that he did last year, but on any given day he can show up and look like a Cy Young Award winner, as he did yesterday against Toronto.
Blue Jays losing to the Royals and currently on a 10-game trip, 10-day 10-game trip. They lost 2 out of 3 to KC, but swept Baltimore. 0-2 on Encarnacion. And that is yanked foul. He came over from the Cincinnati Reds in a trade that involved Scott Rowland. Big league time with the Reds and the Jays.
That trade paved the way for Jose Bautista to play every day.
Hit hard to Danny Wirth. And one gone. Back to the studio we go. Time for a game break. And here's Trevor Thompson. The J. Hay Kid. Thanks, Trev. Here's the top of the order, Dwayne Wise.
Trevor dropped a senior circuit. Talking about the National League.
The 0-1. No balls, 2 strikes on Wise. Win in the ball game, a triple and a single, 2 for 3. The 0-2. Nubbed foul.
And Dwayne getting a steady diet of off-speed pitches this at bat. His 2 hits today both came on fastballs.
101. That's the pitch count.
He's got a lot left in his tank.
5 strikeouts for Justin Verlander.
couple of breaking balls, and then a changeup. Ooh, it's nice.
Here's Escobar. Yunel is 0 for 3. And that'll get down a base hit and more. It'll go all the way to the wall, and Escobar cruising to second, maybe beyond. He'll take the turn. Here it comes. Worth's relay. Tag! Got him! What a relay by Danny Worth. And a tag by Scott Sizemore.
Play by the Tigers. It's your job as an outfielder. Once you get to the ball, Jackson ran a long way, picked it up with a bare hand, got it to Danny Worth. The crowd is now telling Worth that Escobar is trying to stretch a double into a triple, and a really nice relay by Worth and a nice tag applied by Scott Sizemore.
Nicely done. Now let's see if the Tigers can take advantage here and go ahead in the bottom of the 7th. They have Santiago, Worth, and Jackson. Bunted. Romero's off, pouncing on it. One gone.
And let's take a look to see what Escobar, as the base runner, did after hitting the ball into the gap. He's hustling. That much is for certain. The ball is whistled into left center field. Once he gets to second base, you have the option as a base runner to either look at your third base coach or you make the decision. But he's looking behind him instead of looking at his third base coach, and it's impossible for you to continue to run as fast as you need to run if you're looking behind you trying to decide what you need to do or not.
That worked out well for the Tigers. Danny Worth got a single in his last at bat, 1 for 2.
On that relay play, if you're Danny Worth, you really can't hear your shortstop or your second baseman telling you whether that base runner is running or not, so you simply listen for the crowd, and the crowd gets riled up, and they will tell you whether that base runner is trying to get and advance another 90 feet.
Perfect throw. Sizemore applied the tag, inning over. It all started with Jackson, though, getting to the ball as quickly as he could. Ball high, 3-0 on Danny Worth. Each team 7 hits, each team 2 runs.
We told you that they wanted him to continue to stay back and pound down in the strike zone, but Romero, a lot of fastballs up today. A lot of them.
Worth gets a walk. Third walk for Romero. comes Jackson. Austin singled in a run in the 5th inning. That tied the game. And Jackson now with a 7-game hitting streak. His splits coming in were much more favorable against right-handed pitching. Against lefties, he was batting just .205, but in the 1st inning, he hit a rocket right back to Romero. Hit one back up the middle in the 4th inning as well, and then singled in a run in the 5th. He's had 3 good at-bats. Two and 0. 345 against right-handed pitching. Action in their bullpen. Right-hander Sean Camp. Two and one on Jackson. Two and two. Damon lurking on deck. Tigers got 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Jays had not scored off Verlander since getting 2 against him in that 2nd inning, and they were pounding Justin with extra base hits early in the game. 5 extra base hits in the first couple of innings, but Verlander since has absolutely slammed the door. Three and two.
I don't know what Jim's going to do here as we get a look at where that last pitch was. Fox Track said it's top of the strike zone. Boy, if you run here and Jackson strikes out, no doubt Werf's going to be thrown out at second.
Swinging a tip into the glove, throw down to second base, and out. And they run into a double play, a strike him out, and a throw him out. Jim takes a chance anyway, though, and the inning is over. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. with Tigers Live right here on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD. It's the second game in this series. Sean Markham and Rick Porcello will get together tomorrow evening.
92 strikeouts for Markham. And they've got some guys that can miss some bats coming into play today.
2-2 game as we go to the 8th in this one. Verlander answers the bell.
Only the Tampa Bay Rays staff have struck out more batters than Toronto's staff.
Jose Bautista leading it off. Bautista, then Wells and Lind. 3, 4, and 5 in Cito Gaston's lineup.
Bautista, a lot of power this year, and the majority of his home runs have come against right-handers, but he's only hitting .230 against right-handed batters. And Verlander has found that breaking ball. 48 extra base hits for Bautista. Cabrera and Wells also in this game, and we just saw Hamilton. He left last night.
2-2.
That was just a show-me pitch by Verlander. I don't know what he's going to use to try to get Bautista out with, but he clearly wanted him to move his feet on that last fastball inside.
.108 pitches now for Verlander.
Still throwing hard. He's touched 98 today and has gone as low as 76 with his changeup, courtesy of Comcast.
Popped up. Bautista slams the bat to the ground. Sizemore. One away.
Let's take one more look at that final play that ended last half inning. It's a risky play with a left-hander, Romero, on the mound, and Worth just does not get a good jump against a left-hander. As a matter of fact, he stutter step going back, and once the strikeout, very easy to throw the ball down to second base to complete the double play. As a matter of fact, Hill wasn't even at the bag all the way. But Jackson had already had 3 good at-bats against Romero, and Jim was gambling that he would at least put that ball in play.
Vernon Wells, the batter. There's a base hit into right center field, and Wells is on with 1 out.
You cannot throw a fastball by these cats. And Verlander, I believe it was yesterday, they were talking about it on Tigers Live. It was Ryan Field. He said that the players in baseball rated Verlander as having the best fastball in the American League, maybe even baseball. I'm not sure if it was the American League or all of baseball.
I believe it was baseball.
And with these Blue Jays, they've been turning that fastball around today.
Perry and Koch in the, or was it Thomas? Thomas in the Tigers bullpen along with Perry. Here's Adam Lind, and he fouls it back out of play. Lind 0 for 2. Verlander has fanned just 5 in this game, and Lind was one of those victims back in the 5th. We talked about all the power this Toronto team has had with a major league high 144 home runs. They hit one, Buck got one back in the 2nd. Ooh, that was close. Well, sneaking back in.
Verlander has 17 pickoffs since coming to the big leagues in 2006. No right-handed pitcher has picked off more.
The 0-1.
And here's the top 5 of pickoffs.
That's outside. Lind with a 14-game hitting streak on the line. 0 for 2 with a walk. High fly ball. Left center field. Jackson. And they will get Lind, and there are 2 gone. So it's going to be Aaron Hill. Lind and Hill each last year hit better than 30 home runs. Lind hit 35, Hill 36. Both of them this year have 13. As we delve farther into the second half of the season, so their power numbers have come down. And neither one hitting for average either. Both in the low 200s.
Hill got off to a little bit of a slow start this year. He had some problems with his legs, and he tried to come back too early. And you hear me talk quite often about if your legs aren't underneath you, it's very difficult to swing the bat the way that you want to, and you start to get into some bad habits. And that's exactly what happened to Hill early. Then the game kind of speeds up on you, and you're trying to catch up, and you're trying to do too much. And the next thing you know, you're only hitting 203.
And a year ago today, 60 RBIs compared to 34.
Batting average much higher as well.
One ball, one strike on Aaron Hill. Double and 3 at bats in this game.
That double was a really good swing. It was the opposite way, where he does not get many hits.
Runner goes on 1-1, and Laird unable to pick it. In safely at second base is Wells. His 5th steal, so the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Pretty good jump here by Wells. It's a slider, and Gerald can't pick it up. Reached for it, and it wasn't there.
Two and 2 on Hill.
Back-to-back sliders by Verlander to Hill. That slider Verlander started throwing last year, but he feels a whole lot more comfortable throwing it here in 2010.
Two and 2 on Hill. Go ahead run at second base. We're in the 8th. And a high fly ball left field. Should get him out of the inning. Johnny Damon is there. And the inning over. No runs to hit. 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Damon, Ordonez, Cabrera coming up.
Hey fans, you can follow the Tigers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phones with MLB.com at Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Tigers.com for more details.
So the Tigers in a 2-2 tie here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they will have 2, 3, and 4 coming up against the lefty Ricky Romero. And the first pitch to Johnny Damon misses. 1 ball, no strikes. Damon Ordonez Cabrera. 2 runs, 7 hits for the home team. 2 runs, 8 hits for the visiting Blue Jays. Here's the 1-0. We kind of figured coming into this one, Romero and Verlander would be hooked up in a good duel today, and both of them really, Rod, have pitched quite well.
They have. They've gotten it done in different ways. And Romero has gotten away with some fastballs up in the strike zone. He's thrown some good changeups, some good slow breaking balls. He's got nice mound presence. Verlander, one of the best right-handed pitchers in baseball, had to make an early adjustment and made a very nice adjustment to get 8 innings in for his club and give up just 2 earned runs.
So Damon now is a pitch away from reaching here, 3-0. Make it 3-1.
If you're Damon, being a good leadoff hitter and a good table setter, you might want to take another one. It's not all bad to do so. You're trying to get a walk. You're trying to get on base any way you can.
Ball 4. Leadoff man is on. So is the go-ahead run. Here's our Comerica game summary. Blue Jays, 6 of their 8 hits are for extra bases today. Cabrera picked up another RBI, leading the American League with 84. And the numbers on Verlander very impressive again this afternoon. Here comes Cito Gaston out. And they will go to the bullpen. So Romero walks the leadoff man here, and in comes Sean Camp in a wall-side windows pitching change. We'll be back. And Ricky Romero is done for the day, and really early on in this game he very nearly got knocked out of the game.
Yeah, he had to wake up real quick after this bullet off the bat of Austin Jackson, and Romero was able to reach up and grab it and went on to pitch very well. And that's our Lincoln Mercury Exmo. 4 walks by Romero. Tigers are hoping that 4th one comes around to touch home plate.
Sean Camp has been pitching some pretty good baseball out of the bullpen.
He's got great numbers. A 2.44 earned run average, 9 holds, 3 in 43 games this year. Maglio is 1 for 6 against Camp in his career, so I'm sure that's one of the reasons why Cito Gaston has gone to him.
He just got those numbers a little bit better with a base hit to left. And the Tigers are in business now. 2 on, nobody out.
Camp also coming into the game held right-handed batters to a 178 batting average. Left-handers hitting .323 against Camp.
These are good.
Yes.
2 on, nobody out in a 2-2 game in the 8th.
And you have the major league RBI leader standing in the batter's box, who, by the way, is in scoring position as we speak.
Double single RBI. Cabrera's been on base in 32 of his last 33. In that stretch, had a 20-game hitting streak. Early swing. Sean Camp is out of Fairfax, Virginia. 34-year-old right-hander. He's been around a while. Missed it outside, 2-1.
Tabby's contact to damage ratio is off the charts. 7th inning or later. A lot of damage against your setup men and your closers. Some of your hardest throwers in the game.
2-2 on Cabrera.
Took something off that breaking ball. 81 miles an hour from a low 3/4 arm slot. You don't usually get Cabrera on the same exact pitch, if that's what Camp is thinking.
Driven to left field, hit well. That ball is in the gap. Up against the wall. Demon scores. Ordonez to third, and Cabrera comes through again.
He is the absolute truth with a capital T. You cannot get him out in the strike zone, and that 4th walk by Ricky Romero does come around to score. We're going to make it our Bell Tire pitch by pitch at how he goes after him. The majority of the pitches were breaking balls, and he didn't look good swinging at him, especially this one, but he comes back with a changeup and gets too much plate, and it gets whistled into left center field for the second double of the game for the big fella.
85 driven in, 3 hits today, 2 RBIs for Cabrera, and again, 7th inning and later, this guy's been absolutely money.
Camp had been dominating right-handed batters coming into this game to the tune of a 178 batting average, but the couple of right-handers that he has seen in Ordonez and Cabrera, they're not your average right-handers. They have career 300 batting averages in multiple years.
Infield in for the Blue Jays. Tigers have runners at 2nd and 3rd, and Papa Grande is warming up. Tigers trying to extend this lead now, 3-2 advantage. Rayburn is 0 for 3.
Papa Grande was coming into this game no matter what.
Here's the 0-2. Right back up the middle into center field. Ordonez scores. Cabrera goes to 3rd and stops there.
Verlander stands to be the winner in this game, and he deserves to win this game. 3 straight hits by the right-handers.
That's 10 hits now for Detroit in this game.
Outstanding job today by Verlander. That's big. That is big.
Got him 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and now 2 here in the 8th. And Sizemore is 0 for 3. And he hits a ground ball. Diving stop at 3rd by Encarnacion. And he'll get the out at first base.
Highway robbery. What a play by Encarnacion. And it's not so much the play, but he takes a couple of steps to 3rd base to see if he can get Cabrera. And look at him whip this ball back across the diamond. I mean, that's some arm strength. from that arm slot.
First out of the inning. Now Gerald Laird a chance. Rayburn took second on that play.
Well, you wonder if Jim's thinking squeeze.
He's got a guy up there that can handle the bat.
He can. And it's an unlikely combination with Cabrera on third base. And Cito Gaston is thinking right along those same lines. You wouldn't think that this would be a good combination to do it with Laird and Cabrera, but it is. Because most people aren't thinking that way.
Well, on 1-0 now,
he can still do it.
He can still do it because what are the chances they'll pitch out back-to-back here?
They don't do it very often.
Swing and a miss, 1-1.
And we told you the numbers that Camp has posted against right-handers, even though the first three right-handers he has seen here in the eighth have reached.
Tigers lead 4-2 with a 2-run eighth. 1-2 on Laird.
Boy, if you're Laird here, you got to choke up. You know there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get another breaking ball from Camp from that sidearm angle. And do whatever you can to just put it in play. Give yourself a chance. Choke up, spread out, whatever you have to do. He's not going to throw it by you.
To center field. This will be deep enough to get the run in. Laird gets it done with 2 strikes in the count. A sac fly, and the Tigers lead it 5-2.
Nice job, G-Money. Camp threw him another breaking ball and got too much plate with it. Laird able to reach it for his 16th RBI of the year.
3-run Tigers lead. Both runners move up, and with 2 outs, here is Santiago.
I tell you what, boy, those walks late in games, kiss of death. Romero walked Johnny Damon to lead off this inning, and the Tigers have gone on to score 3 runs.
3 straight hits after that base on balls. And the Tigers have 10 hits total. Two and 1. Still a safe situation here for Valverde. If the Tigers get another run, it won't be. And Papa Grande just watching the action now from the bullpen. He's good to go. Two 1 pitch. Danny Worth waiting on deck. And a strike called. Santiago tried to coax a walk. 3-2. Got him, strike 3. Santiago caught looking, but a big inning for the Tigers. They break the tie. They scored 3 times, and here comes Valverde. And Papa Grande coming on here in a 5-2 ball game to try and close this one out. How about we update our McDonald's player of the game voting so far? Miguel Cabrera earning 43% of the vote, then Verlander, and then Johnny Damon. You can still vote. The final totals coming up post-game on Tigers Live. Well, the Tigers have made a change defensively. Sizemore out of the game. Don Kelly will play third base.
And Papa Grande, last couple of starts after the All-Star break, has not been as efficient as he was earlier in the year, but the numbers are still a very eye-popping, outstanding year. All-Star is Valverde.
Valverde did not convert his first save opportunity of the year, and then he ripped off 19 straight. He'll go for another one here today.
Had some command issues in the ball game last night against the Texas Rangers, but still stayed on to preserve the win.
Overbay is leading it off. Ten hits today for the Tigers. Jays have 8. Overbay, Buck, and Encarnacion 7, 8, 9. Chop foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. $34,476 making some noise here today. They've seen a good one. It'll be extra good if the Tigers close this one out. 2-2 on Lyle Overbay. Double run scored back in the second for Overbay. John Buck on deck. Grounded foul. Tigers, after losing 7 straight, trying to win their 2nd straight and take advantage of these home games. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes.
Ooh, Papa Grande reached back to get a little extra at 96. Hey, fan, every game counts. The Tigers face the White Sox Tuesday, August 3rd through Thursday, August 5th, starting with a day-night doubleheader. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. The Tigers always seem to bring out the best in the Chicago White Sox, and it's time for the Tigers to kind of flip that script.
Here's John Buck. 1-1 on Buck, who hit a 2-run shot back in the second off Verlander, and that is their only offense today.
White Sox finally lost a game last night in Seattle. Tigers came into play today 2.5 in back of the Chicago White Sox.
Ground ball to the shortstop on the backhand work. 2 gone. 1 more out to get. Edwin Encarnacion stands between Valverde and his 20th save. 34,000 plus. They're on their feet.
Whatever issues Valverde had been having as far as his control is concerned, no problem for him today.
He has looked crisp this afternoon. There's a ground ball left side. Kelly can't get it into left field. Driving attempt. And a 2-out single by Encarnacion. So hope is still alive for the Blue Jays. Dwayne Wise coming up.
Well, this is about as far as you want to go if you're Papa Grande. Wise does not have much power, but if you start getting down toward the middle of their batting order, They got some guys that can reach the seats.
Wise a couple of homers this year. Single, had a triple in this game. Strike two. 0-2 on Dwayne Wise. Valverde just waiting to do his dance. And needs one more strike. Swing and a miss. There it is. Valverde closes it out.
I see you, Papa Grande.
2 straight wins for the Tigers. A nice one today behind Verlander. They beat Ricky Romero and the Blue Jays. 5-2 our final score in this one. Stay with us. A whole lot more coming up. Jose Valverde, save number 20.